Hey Warriors fans, it is time to preview the Northern Athletics Collegiate Conference Women's Soccer Tournament because for the second straight year, for the second time ever, the Warriors are in it. Matt Eisold, third-year head coach, has guided this program to new heights. Obviously now 2 straight years in the conference tournament, Coach. First of all, congratulations. I know maybe your expectations personally were higher, but there's something to be said for taking a program to 2 straight conference tournaments when it had never been done before. Is there a silver lining in that respect? Is that something certainly to be proud of before we talk about the IIT matchup?
Yeah, I mean, I think when you get the chance to self-reflect a little bit later when season's over, I mean, I think it'll get highlighted a little bit more. In the moment, for me, I feel like we always want to be moving up. We want to be taking steps. You could argue we did that, and then also you could argue we didn't. When you look at like our overall conference record was better than last year. But then we ended up finishing in the same spot. Obviously, even going into the last day, we did control our own fate as well. And to be going into the last day, knowing you were in already, was already different than last year. Where going into the last day, we were dependent a little bit on other results. So I think you could find a world where you could argue it either way.
It is a time, though, to kind of reset, right? I mean, regardless of seeds, everybody starts and the second season begins. Has that been a part of your message, or what has been the message to the team since the conclusion of the season, getting ready now for the weekend in the tournament?
I think the big part has been, in order to have a chance, you need to get a chance. And we get a chance. So, and obviously there's other teams that don't get that chance. Yeah. So that's kind of been the messaging, and there's no expectation on us, right? It's a free game where no one really looks at it like, oh, it's, this is probably what's going to happen, and if we can usurp those expectations, it'd be great. So no, to be able to play free, I think, is also a big deal.
Big picture, 30,000-foot view type question. How would you describe the season? Maybe for fans who don't follow it regularly or religiously, they're kind of in and out a little bit. Statistically, you guys finished second in scoring average in the conference, 5th in goals against average. Big picture, your take on the season as a whole?
I think we showcased the things that we are. We are organized, disciplined defensively. We continue to take strides forward with our pattern of play of how we want to build attacks. So, I think when you zoom out and you look at it from a much higher perspective, we've continued to move in the right direction. I think, despite what we always hope, it's not always going to be like a straight linear track, and like sometimes there's going to be little blips and bumps in the road, and to be net positive despite that, I think, is a really big deal. And again, when I zoom out and kind of self-reflect on it a little bit, I think to take net positive moves is a huge deal for us. To not move in a backward direction is an important step for us.
Well, you make a really good point. Progression isn't linear. Whether you're talking about an individual player, whether you're talking about maybe a team or rebuilding a program like you've done. Have you had to remind yourself that sometimes, as much as maybe the players even?
Yeah, I have high expectations for myself and for the squad. And when you stop to think about it, again, I am not playing, and that's for good reason, for multiple good reasons. But so you can't control everything, and again, soccer is a sport where you probably have less control than a lot of other sports. So the ability to let go and be like, all right, well, we are what we are, and you got to have faith in the work that we've done up to this point. And I think for me, that I can self-reflect and say, yeah, we've done a good job and have gotten better.
When you and I talked a couple months ago, several months back, we did the season preview as always. We talked about all those freshmen that played such important roles for you last year, and now taking another step and becoming sophomores. Is there a player or two, we can't go through everybody, I always say that. Is there a player or two that you would pinpoint as really have been pleased with their progression from year 1 to year 2?
I don't know if it's completely fair because she missed a lot of her freshman year. I mean, Aubrey Cook has been, a big boon to have bad back and been able to play, a much larger role this year than she did last year. So for her, I mean, you could argue it. But again, I don't know how comparatively you want to look at that.
Right.
How much she played last year to this year. If you look at
tough kid too. You and I have talked about this off the air. I find myself, we're at games, and I would recommend this, in years to come. Find Aubrey Cook there. she's involved, she's fiery, there's a passion there. There's an entertainment value to watching Aubrey's game.
Yeah, for sure. So I mean, I think for her right now, that's been
Yeah.
probably the biggest, whether you want to count those outside factors or not. But she's been important. And you look at, like, again, you talk about goals against and, you know, being defensively sound, that she's been a big part of that.
I do want to ask you about Illinois Tech. They are the champs, 3 straight regular season titles in the NACC now for IIT. They ran the table, 12-0 in the league, 16-1-1 overall. It's the 1-8 matchup in the quarterfinals, Coach. How much do you take from that matchup against them in the regular season? It was a 2-0 final. I think they outshot you 10-3. They scored a goal early. They scored a goal late. Can you draw from that 90 minutes to this weekend's quarterfinal matchup? And if so, what do you take?
We've said things like, you know, at the end of the day, they're made out of the same thing as you, right? Where they're made out of the same materials. So, you know, the fact that you did go compete with them, right? You talk about the balance of the game and all those kind of things, but you competed with them, right? It was obviously a much better result than the last 2 we had against them. So I think you can take some positivity going into the match, right? We know that, you know, we're up against it, but you know, the sky is not as dark as it was last year when you look at it comparatively.
Right. Do you not only draw from the regular season match this year, but can you take anything from last year's conference tournament match? I mean, I know that one got crooked and whatnot, but
probably not. I mean, we were missing a large number of players that are available to play.
You're really banged up at the end of last year.
Yes, that are available to play this year. So I think probably not in comparison.
Okay. Real quick, in goal, we saw Street and Schrader in kind of a tandem for much of the season, and then as Sam got healthy and was cleared and all that stuff, it's been her go. How is Sam Schrader playing right now in goal, and what do you ask out of her as a leader over the weekend?
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of faith in Sam. I've coached Sam for a very long time. Right. I mean, sometimes, you know, when you've coached someone for that long, sometimes you lose sight of, right, all of the messaging through that entire period of time. Right, I've always had a lot of faith in Sam and what she's capable of doing, and we know that she's going to get called upon, and she's gotten called upon in all these matches. So, you know, I have a lot of faith in that she can get the job done, and that she'll do a great job for us in this game. You know, we also are a little concerned about her health. Obviously, I've coming from last year and the major surgery. So, no, I have a ton of belief in her, and I'm confident that she'll have a great performance on Sunday.
Sunday at 3 down in Chicago at Illinois Tech, Stewart Field. That'll be the quarterfinal venue. Before I let you go, I don't want you to give away any corporate secrets or anything like that here. An X factor. An X factor for an 8 seed in the Warriors to knock off the top-seeded Illinois Tech squad in the quarterfinals. What might we look for?
I mean, Brooke knows this is the last dance. Like, this is it. This is your last, right, real big go of it.
Brooke Bloom.
And, yes, Brooke Bloom. Yep. Like, she knows that, and I think she's been playing. Like, she knows that the sand is slowly ticking through the hourglass, and that's something I think it's hard to quantify. You know, it's an X factor in that difference in mentality, and you know, when your back's against the wall and you know that the time is ticking away. Yeah. You know, you might be able to play in a different gear.
We'll watch, we'll follow. Sunday at 3, it's the quarterfinals of the NACC Women's Soccer Tournament. Warriors visit Illinois Tech. Coach, appreciate the conversation.
Of course, no
Best of skill on Sunday. Hopefully we're doing this again next week if an upset happens. Follow along at WLCsports.com. Thanks, everybody.